Okay, I'd like to acknowledge also those two special people just joined us. To my extreme left is Sandy Montano, and she is part of this book. Her story is on page chapter 16. Okay, I met Sandy on a flight to Davao, Mati, and she shared with me her story. She's an entrepreneur who started a remarkable company training people how to respond to disasters, because she was a survivor of the Baguio earthquake. She was buried under the rubble for 3 days and survived. So I have a question for you for that. And of course, our guardian angel in the industry. Let's all welcome also BDI Secretary Ramon Lopez. Thank you, Sir Ramon, for coming, bossing. So, maraming stories dito in the book that were inspired by the Go Negosyo movement. Well, Ramon and I, when he was still the executive director of Go Negosyo, we used to go and travel to Zamboanga, Mindanao, so many places together just to preach the gospel of entrepreneurship right there. And so we spent many dinners and late nights together making kwento to each other. So thank you, Secretary Juan, thank you so much. Yeah. So the question that we were asking is, what was the most difficult challenge or trial in life, and how did you overcome it? Okay, so we'll come back that way. So siguro we'll go alternate, all right? So, Joman, could you answer that?
Ang unang challenge sa akin was well, the first challenge was for me on a personal basis was I didn't finish college, so I never had a degree when I started my career. So I couldn't find work. I could find work, but not the work that I wanted. So I ended up trying to sell many things, sell cardboard, cartons everywhere, buy watches for other employees, and then on a installment basis. Ang hirap pala mawala siya ng utang. Challenge. It was a challenge. Next challenge, when I was invited to put up potato farm, I didn't have money. So I was looking for money. My brother, my older brother, didn't want to lend me money. I knew he had money, but he didn't want to lend me. I don't know, maybe older brothers don't like to lend younger brothers. For whatever reason. Finally I was able to borrow, and it was it. Next challenge, we didn't have enough money to, my partners and I didn't have enough money to grow the business. So, not by choice, but by necessity, we went to franchise. Now we didn't realize that was the one that would take Potato Corner to the next level, franchising. So, and until now we're still franchising. That's our business model, and this is our business model for the next 20 years again. Potato Corner is now 27 years, and we face so many challenges. And one key habit that we as a company do every time we're faced with a big challenge was always to seek help. Help from friends, help from consultants, help from Go Negosyo, help from RD, help from many people, and help from God.
Big hand for Roman. Thank you. If you want to buy a franchise of Potato Corner, you can also line up later. Okay, ikaw naman, Nelson.
Sa akin siguro, I have so many challenges when I was starting my business. Kasi unang-una, when I started it, that was in 1981. 1981, no, not Balay-Suban. That was Techno-Asia. I fell in love with construction, but the construction, I don't have any experience in construction except the house that I built. So, and 1981 was not a good time to start business. My friends were telling me it's not a good time to start business martial law, recession, etc., magulo. And it was difficult. Started with 50,000 pesos compensation. So I started getting small contracts. We did handyman services for subdivisions here in Makati, some officers. And that's how we started hanggang nagsimula kami ng property development. But napakaraming challenges because in the first place, I am an accountant by profession. I used to work in the bank. So I had to learn the ropes. I had to learn everything by myself. At the same time, maraming financial challenges kasi yun yung time na money was not easy to come by. But through the years, there was a time, lalo na nung Asian crisis in 1997, I've been asked by a lot of friends na kung hindi ko ba i-consider na mag-iba ng career, mag-iba ng negosyo. But this one is nasa puso ko yung what I'm doing is something that I love. Parang I cannot part with it. So I believe in what I've been doing. Lagi ko lang sinasabi, do things differently because everybody is doing the same thing. Everybody is doing housing packages. But I think yung survival namin is be different. Come up with different packages. So nagsimula kami noong 2000, we came up, ang tawag ko ng crisis-proof packages because real estate construction business has been rocked by crisis after crisis. Mula pa nung panahon ni Belda, nag-launch siya mga housing project siya. Every now and then, yung mga crisis So we have to come up with packages na wala nang crisis. Maski anong mangyari, you'd be able to stand in your own. So after 36 years, happy entrepreneur, yung baril, masaya, and I think we're able to accomplish what we've set out to accomplish. I think that's all.
Thank you, Jerky Nelson. Thank you. Sandy. Siguro wala nang tataas doon sa challenge na maburo sa ilalim ng lupa ng 3 araw.
Good afternoon to each and everyone. I'm Sandy Montano. By profession, I'm a nurse. I just joined the government last March. I am the newly appointed commissioner for Philippine Commission on Women. I'm happy to see Secretary Mon wearing violet. Kasi yan po ang color, pati yung shoes namin. Yan po ang color ng PCW. Yun. So, actually, nung nga po na-receive ko yung aking appointment, sabi ko, sino kaya nagpahamak sa akin dito? Because private, on my private life, I've been doing a lot of things already. Like, when I set up the company, I call it CHEERS, Community Health Education Emergency Rescue and Safety Services. We're dealing with a lot of emergency disaster calamity. So, this is not a woman industry. This is a man's industry. Kaya nga po, ang challenges ko is that every time that there's a disaster, at kasabay po akong pupunta sa C-130 in NDRMC, sabi nila, huwag niyo isakay si Sandy, liability yan. Baka yan maarte sa ganito, ganon. So, I have to form my platform. So I set up first the foundation. So back in the States, I was working as a registered nurse. I'm a USRN. It's a glory days of nurses. We live a good life in the States. But every time nalalaman ko sa mga kamag-anak namin na meron na namang may earthquake, may typhoon, may kung ano nung landslide, parang kinikilig yung pako na uuwi. So pag umuwi kami dito, we can do just so many, very limited time at saka yung resources. So until such time, 2006, we plan to set up the foundation. And then 2 years within that period, I have seen there's a problem when it comes to practice because there's no formal training on paramedic course yet. So yung mga nakikita natin dati na mga naka-Star of Life, mga they're riding an ambulance, if you ask their certification, majority of them are first aiders, not paramedics. Kaya ang tawag na namin dati, parang medics. O, asa na yung mga paramedics natin? Because Kahit na nandun ka, first aid lang yung alam mo, pero you really have to deal with mass casualty incident. You really have to put that adrenaline rush. So, lagi po ako nabubuli noon. Hindi ako sinasama sa mga discussions on this stuff. At such time, I set up the foundation, I set up the school. So, Cheers a school. It's an EMS school. It's just those stuff. Wala pong gusto mag-invite sa akin, not even my school, not even the LGU where I belong, because I'm an Ilocana by grad. GI, Genuine Ilocana. So sabi ko, siguro ang Pilipino, marirealize lang natin importance ng disaster preparedness, climate change, yung mga yan. Pag nag-mainstream na siya, true enough, from number 9 tayo, most disaster country in the whole world, naging number 5, naging number 3 now. I don't think this is a good news. We're now number 2, most disaster country in the whole world. And there was a lobby signed by President. Bilang disaster ang problema natin, safety rin. There's a lot of, biggest vehicular accidents. So, nagawa ng batas sa Presidente, minandate yung Republic Act 11058 na lahat ng establishment, small, medium enterprise should have an SO1 or safety officer 1, safety officer 2. Because why do we have to limit ourselves? Why do we have to be reactive when we can be proactive? So, when we started Cheers 2008, talagang yung hard-earned money po namin mag-asawa, halos ma-drain na. We want to close shop. Nag-usap na kami ng, sige, bumalik na lang tayo sa Amerika kasi siguro hindi pa ready ang Pilipinas on the advocacy that we are doing. 2014, there was this awarding in ASEAN. So they're going to award yung ASEAN Woman Leader. AIM, through Professor Macaranas, nominated me. So, yung mga finalists, talagang big names. Si Miss Maylita Viva, si Vicky Bello. Sabi ko, sino kaya sa dalawang ito ang mananalo? So, when, during the time, ang secretary is si Gregory Domingo, si President Aquino po ang presidente noon. So excited ako kung sino sa kanila. Sabi ng mother-in-law ko, si Maylin na yan kasi ang dami niyang project. Sabi naman nung husband ko, hindi, si Vicky Bello yan, mami. Wala mo lang nagsabi na, pwede ikaw manalo, di ba? Wala man lang vote of confidence sa akin. So ako, pumunta na ako sa gilid, sa likod. So nang tinatawag na nila yung profile ng awardee, ganyan, tapos nilagay na yung logo ng Cheers, tinawag yung pangalan ko. I wasn't even ready with a handkerchief. I was crying. Kasi this is the first award that I received after setting up Cheers. So the rest is history. So we were, even si MVP noon, siya yung chairman ng ASEAN. I said, girl, I don't know her, so we have to, parang getting to know breakfast, tell about my story, how I survived 3 days earthquake in Baguio City. I was under the rubble for 3 days. On the third day that I was really, alam mo yun, yung tipong it's a matter of life and death, I prayed hard to God that if this is my last day on the earth, God, sana makita yung ng parents ko ang aking cadaver. Para may closure sila because si Papangat saka si Mamang, elementary level lang sila eh. Baka hindi rin na matanggap na yung bunso nila namatay na or mag-wish pa sila na buhay pa ako. So nag-astral na ako. So separate ng aking body and soul. So ito nakakatuwa kasi nakita ko mismo where I was buried, then there is this 2 sniffing dog. Talagang kinakawala nila where I was buried. There was this, ito na yung mga ususero at ususera. Inalis nila yung slabs until such time they saw me. So yung mga rescuers, si PR ako wala talaga. Buti na lang ang DOH hindi ready. They don't have enough black bag. You know the black bag? Hindi ko nilalagay yung mga dead bodies. Sabi ko nga kay Dr. Eric nung last time na nag-speaker kami sa CESPOR, because thanks God to DOH, you're not ready, you're not prepared, you don't have enough black bag. I wasn't put in a black bag, I was put in Burnham Park. And the second day, it rained so hard, my heart starts to beat, and then yun na. So sometimes, galit tayo sa ulan, ulan na naman, ganyan. Pero at the end of, in some other part of the world, there are some people who's asking or praying for water, for rain. And that was one of those are me. So, noong na-revive ko yun, noong nabigyan ulit ako ng second life, I promise to God na I would dedicate it to saving lives, to capacity building, sustainability, and so on and so forth. So, hindi ganun kadali. Because there was no EMS school, there was no pre-hospital school. Ayoko na mag-nursing noon eh. But, alam mo namang hindi ako mag-aral. So, kung tinapos ko yun, pagkatapos ko pumunta ng Amerika, doon ako nag-EMS, doon ako nag-paramedics. It is where I hold my skills. Nung bumalik ako dito, I'm ready. I don't want to be bullied. So 2014, that was in Myanmar. After the awarding, first Asian Woman Leader. Siyempre, 10 country yan. Yung isa 85 years old from Vietnam, parang Mother Teresa na itsura. O siguro ito nung pananalunin, di ba? Kasi 85 years old na siya. So yun, nung in-announce, it was Rico Hison, ang host nun. So nakatingin siya sa akin. Sabi niya parang, kasi tinawag yung second runner-up, first runner-up, di walo pa kami nasa baba. Sabi ko, hindi na siguro, kita kami ng banyo. Tapos, pinabalik